Hi guys, so today I am doing a quick BTCC stuff episode, and it is one hit wonder, Jamie Wall's time in the BTCC. So Jamie Wall he only ran one season in the BTCC in 1997 as an independent. He was actually driving one of the oldest cars that was running, that would probably one of the older cars to run in the series. It was a 95 Cavalier, and had actually been a test car for Derek Warwick and John Cleland in a few seasons previous, and having been raced in 1996 by Richard Kay. It was the Vauxhall Cavalier Opel Vectra A, built by Ray Mallock, was handed to Jamie Wall for the 1997 season. Now, wasn't a particularly high profile driver, but he could have been a future Matt Neal if he'd had a bit more dedication or perhaps money to run in the series. Of course, running as an independent is a lot cheaper than a factory entry, although if you're actually running the team yourself as well, it's probably cost more. But generally the independent cars, depending on how much the driver is actually putting in himself, they're definitely down on the factory entries. The factory entry is representing the manufacturers. The manufacturers will push whatever money at that time. There was no particular limit that I know of. There may have been, but you know, the top manufacturers were very wealthy. So anyway, the reason I say that this guy was a one-hit wonder was because I was watching the 97 British touring car review on Duke Videos copy. I would recommend anything like that, especially that series. At that time, what is really good, and Duke have actually got very good reviews of it. So yeah, he actually had raced in other series before. He was in Ford Fiesta Cup, which was a side event with the BTCC, or became that. Rover Coupe Turbo Cup a few years ago when Rover was still around. Later, after the BTCC, Wall drove in the Australian Super Touring Championship. He's also driven in such a series as the British GT series, and has worked as both a driver coach and a vehicle stuntman. And it's perhaps possible that was the reason his racing career in the BTCC didn't go too far, if he had commitments. But I thought I would give him a mention in this video because he was kind of a one-hit wonder. The 1 year he did spend in touring cars in Motorsport in 97 actually did pretty well. I recall many instances where he was giving Rob Gravitt and Colin Galley food for thought, who were much more experienced independent drivers, and he had a nice turn of speed in a car that was one of the weakest cars, and yes, he didn't finish that well. It was cool to see this young lad at the time taking on some of the big boys. As I said, there was shades of Matt Neal in there. He obviously didn't go very far in his career. Another one like that was Gavin Piper in the 2000s, who was running a Alfa Romeo. He kept getting a little bit better and better, and then just kind of vanished from the series. I guess a lot of it could be because the money required with Motorsport. It was a one-hit wonder. He did well. He independent races. He was nerfed by David Leslie at Alton Park. Pretty deliberate move, really, but obviously Leslie, who is a he was lapping him and he drove right in front, so Leslie was pretty ruthless. But it was fun to watch him fighting Colin Galley at Snetton and so on and so forth. It's always good to see a young raw talent, and at 20 years old, this lad was mixing it with the big boys, showing them very little respect and just raw, uninhibited speed, which is always interesting to see alongside more experience. Of course, the experience told in the championship that year, with Rob Gravitt taking the win. But as I said, this guy was a bit of an enigma. 1 year, did very well for his first year in one of the weaker cars, and yeah. Anyway, thanks guys, and I'll have another fuller episode for you soon. All the best.